Alright, so I actually don't have a whole lot of time. I'm about to go to work, but I felt inspired to come back on. Once I post a video, sometimes that energy keeps going and I just want to keep talking. There's a lot of interest in our perception right now. How we could look at one thing and realize that our perception or our belief around it is or isn't empowering, is or isn't embodying self love, or just something that's manageable in this reality. I know coming on here, there's so much content, there's so many videos that say this is how it's supposed to be. We don't want to be living like this. We don't want to be in the matrix. All of this isn't working. You can't have a 9 to 5 job. You can't do it this way. It has to be like that. And it's not necessarily manageable. Not for everybody. Not at first, anyway. You can do all those things. But watching all this content telling us that we have to conform to a whole other ideology when the world is telling us to conform to another way of being, and then just jumping on over into something else that has its own other system, it's really confusing. And it's not the most empowering experience. I'd like to recommend to you that if you're interested in spirituality and you're watching these videos about embodying the light, 5D consciousness, spirituality, whatever it may be, incorporate psychology into it. So look for some people that are psychologists that post videos that are in correlation to whatever you're going through, because that is something that can more easily establish you and ground you with whatever you're going through, especially in terms of like shadow work, having these new feelings, this new inspiration and love coming in. Just make sure to mix it up with different types of people, different types of influencers, different ideas. Anything that seems limiting, that tells you that things are supposed to be a certain way, challenge that. And just see what works best for you. See what empowers you. See what feels loving to yourself. And what is going to give you a good perception. So, in my last video, I really talked about media and the perfection of media. Some of the influencers, people that make content, they have a lot of production behind what they do. There's a lot of money that goes into it. They're very well established and they do a fantastic job. Also, I'm discussing like media in general. So that could be news, that could be movies or whatever. But also the phones, whatever it is, whatever is on this screen. Let's say this is a phone, okay? Let's say this is a screen. A lot is coming to mind. Also dating apps. So whatever is absorbing our perception, it holds our perception in, just like this. It encapsulates the perception. It's kind of like taking your identity, this sense of self, and then engulfing it into this outer experience that projects your love. It's kind of a way of projecting your truth or projecting your heart into something in the external world that can completely take that away from you if you lose yourself in it. If this becomes your whole reality, then where are you? As long as you're able to use discernment to go into this field, to observe what works for you and what doesn't work for you, to take what you can from it in an empowering and self-loving way, a way that's supportive and allowing of other people to be able to believe differently than you do, to have differences, because we all have our own truth. We all have our own free will, and if we're really going to embody that within ourselves, we have to be able to allow others to do the same. But I'm inviting you to challenge the concept of whatever can absorb you. like this. I really like this physical example because the media or a cell phone or something external, I relate the internet or a phone to be kind of like a mirror, right? It's there's an experience of, getting lost in a mirror and this perception that we're in control of our outer reality, right? Let's say you're looking in a mirror, you're moving your hands around, and you can control something outside of you. Well, where does that go when it's the internet? The internet is kind of like a reflection to the entire world. It's like a mirror that's being held up to our whole reality, our whole world, and we hold the power of that in our pocket or our hands every single day. So it's really easy for our perceptions to become externalized on a daily basis and for us to lose ourselves in that dimension, basically. I do have to get going soon. I really want to expand on this to empower you to be able to decide for yourself what is healthy for your perception and what's unhealthy for your perception. What is empowering you to move forward in your life? What is empowering you to embody a sense of self and a sense of self-love? What is making you feel good? What is it in your life that you sign on to every day? Maybe it's an app, or maybe it's a certain type of content, or a story, or whatever it may be. Try to think about which apps and which types of content are doing you good and which aren't. It can be really interesting, especially I'd like to expand on the dating apps because we put a lot of ourselves in those apps at times. Some of them are more geared towards the personality. There's more of an opportunity to describe who you are and to put all of yourself out there in more of an inner way. But then there's the apps that involve this open field of like anything goes, basically. Like, I'm open to anything. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm just open to whatever. And there's really more of an emphasis on hooking up and sexuality, and it can be really confusing when you're looking to empower yourself and you're looking for good things in your life. But then it's all about putting your pictures out there, having your looks be, gawked at or analyzed by other people, good or bad. It's really confusing for a sense of perception. And I'm just inviting you to think about whether or not that is healthy for you. And if that's something you want to take with you into your future. Like if you're in college, for example, or you're working on something in your life that is very good for you, but then you're signing on to an app at the same time. I've been on these apps, I would say, kind of like Tinder or Grindr or Bumble or something. I don't really know what the current one is. But it's kind of strange when you got your energy that you're wanting to embody in yourself, but then you're putting your energy into this external influence. How much of that is that taking away from you? How much energy are you putting into that? How much of yourself for what you're wanting in your life? So just think about that. I have to get going, but I would like to expand on this because our perception of reality is very influenced by the apps, the content, the media, whatever it may be. We hold these phones in our pockets or our hands all day long, and it can really influence us. It can influence your heart. And you have the ability to love yourself right now. You have the ability to give yourself whatever you need right now. And some of these external influences have a great deal of power to give you the belief that it can give you what you want exactly right now. This instant gratification of what you're seeking is available right now. But how's that working out? And how does it make you feel? That's what's most important. Empower yourself.